Great to have you with us. Please like, subscribe, and share. Now, while this is going on, while we've got wrong track, right track headed in absolutely the right direction, Trump got some major big economic news today. Again, the winning keeps coming. Winning, baby. More winning. Thanks, everybody, for rolling up. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. And if you like this content, please share it with everybody that you know. All right, let's dive into the April inflation numbers rolled out, the CPI index. And they were absolutely great news for Trump, in contrast to the ridiculous liberal propaganda media, which has drumbeat this inflation fear-mongering nonsense ever since Trump announced Liberation Day about a month and a half ago. So check out the new April CPI numbers. Here we go with Fox.
We're coming in a little bit lighter than expected. So we came in at 0.2% month over month. The street was looking for 0.3. So that's actually better than what the street thought was going to happen here. 2.3% is the headline number year over year. The street's estimate was 2.4. Yeah. So again, that's a lighter number than expected. 0.2% core month over month. The estimate was 0.3. Again, better than expected. Core year over year came in at 2.8%. That was actually in line.
So Trump is getting great economic inflation news. Trump is lowering prices despite all the fear mongering. Oh, Trump's trade war is going to raise prices. Oh, prices are going to go up. There's going to be inflation. The tariffs are going to raise prices. The tariff. Most of these economic quote unquote experts are none of the above. I mean, I am not an economic expert. Yeah, I went to college. Yeah, I got an applied mathematics degree. I am certainly no econ expert. But I can tell you that the major driver of inflation is not tariffs. Tariffs are not the equivalent of inflation. Could tariffs influence inflation? I mean, they might have a infinitesimal impact on inflation. The primary driver of inflation is money supply. It is how much money is out there chasing after fewer goods. Now, if by some other supply chain problem, you drastically reduce the amount of goods available, yes, you could get inflationary pressure from that. But it is still driven mostly by monetary policy, how much money is floating around in the economy. Now, so let's keep going because this was also being reported by CNBC about the economic numbers.
Equaled it in July of last year on a headline expecting up 0.3. Up 0, goose egg, unched. Boy, that is progress. We haven't had a number that low. Well, we equaled it in July of last year when we had another 0. To find a lower number, you're back to October of 23 at minus 0.4. Strip out the all-important food and energy. Down 1/10. Down 1/10. That's 0.4 lower than.
So you have to go back 4 years. Basically, you have to go back to the previous Trump presidency to get inflation numbers this good. Just to give you a little history, Biden, back in 2022, Biden's inflation numbers were clocking in at 8%, 8.7, just shy of 9%. 2 years later, as he was winding down his presidency, those inflation numbers had fallen to about 4%. Half of what they were. Trump's inflation numbers are coming in at almost half of that. The ideal inflation number, according to the Fed, is right at 2 or below. That means a stable economy. Trump is sitting there at 2.3 annual inflation, which is amazing, and it's still coming down. And why is it coming down? Trump's inflation numbers are coming down because he's driving the harbingers of prices down. He's not just trying to play with individual price levels. No. He is driving the entire cost of doing business down. Check this out. And he's doing that primarily with things like energy and others. So here we go. CPI 2.3 in April, down from 2.4 in March. Energy minus 3.8%. Gasoline minus 11.8%. Apparel minus 0.7%. He's got food prices coming down. Now, of course, the lamestream globalist propaganda media will not give Trump an ounce of credit. This is how utterly disingenuous and what complete liars they are. Check this out.
Eased in April, and it might be the last good report on prices we see before the effects of Donald Trump's trade war really start to take effect. One economist described today's report to the New York Times as a, quote, time capsule. Quote, you're seeing this wonderful picture of what was. That tells you nothing about what's going to be. We're seeing signs of what might be already. Last month, the U.S. economy already saw its slowest rate of economic growth in 4
So they're again, the lamestream media is telling you a story. They're telling you not a story, they're telling you a story. And it is a narrative of their own making. It is a narrative of their own design. And when I say own, I don't even mean they own it, because they're given these talking points and this narrative from their globalist puppet masters. They're the ones who hate America, want to destroy America. Well, the propaganda media is their mouthpiece. They are 100% in line with these disgusting individuals. So they're going to tell you a story. We've already discussed the first quarter GDP. The fact that when you factor in that Trump cut government spending, and that government spending is falsely included in GDP numbers, and when you factor that out, and the other little fact that people were pre-buying stuff ahead of Trump's tariffs, and imports are a negative GDP number. Combining those two and pulling them out of the mix, the real GDP was showing around 4% growth, which is a roaring economy. So I believe, not like the propaganda media is going to tell you, but this economy is actually starting to accelerate. It is already going, and it is only going to accelerate. We've got 16 trade deals in the blocks, according to Besant and Luckett. So we've got all sorts of stuff happening. Now, again, to get back into the inflation numbers, how is Trump driving costs down? And again, this is tariffs don't equal inflation. No matter what the propaganda media tells you, do not believe them. Do not listen to them. Tariffs do not equal inflation. They might have a minuscule effect, but just like the temperature of the earth is driven 99% by the sun, not by the idea of global warming or anything else, it is driven by the largest energy source. The largest driver of inflation is monetary supply. Second to that is all of the underlying costs in the economy. When energy prices go up, when supply chain costs go up, when transportation costs go up, when all of those costs go up, everything has to go up. The reason why Biden's food prices, energy prices, and everything were skyrocketing is because he clamped down on the supply of those things. He clamped down on energy supply. He got rid of all drilling and everything else. He made us go with Green New Deal nonsense, which is inefficient, bloated, and expensive. So that drove the price of making products, of transporting products, of storing products. Everything, all the above drove those costs up. Unlike Trump, who's doing the exact opposite. So you've got food, April food inflation at 1.78 versus 2.69. Vegetables down 10. Fuel and light, housing. So again, this is all down 1.4 down. So this is amazing stuff. Trump is driving down. Look at your cost of your gasoline. The cost of gasoline is down, that doesn't just affect your individual pocketbook. Think of every truck on the road that has to transport goods, especially groceries. They all get trucked to all those individual locations. As the price of gas comes down, the price of logistics comes down, the price of food can come down. Same thing with energy that is used to manufacture things, energy that is used to, cool refrigerate the food, process it. All the stuff that goes into making food or anything else in our economy is driven by energy, which drives the production cost, which also drives the logistics transportation cost, the distribution cost, all of that. As those come down, the prices of everything is coming down. That's how Trump is lowering costs across the board. So this is amazing stuff. So Trump is winning on the economy as well. I love this. I love to see this. Last thing, you haven't heard this anywhere from the lamestream propaganda media. This is phenomenal news. The U.S. Treasury reported a $258 billion budget. What? Surplus. That's right, a budget surplus in April of 2025. This is the second largest surplus in history. driven by, get this, a record $850 billion in revenue, primarily from capital gains taxes and customs. This is Trump tariffs. So we've got a $258 billion surplus. The deficit is falling. The budget deficit is falling. We've got an actual surplus for the month of April. This is phenomenal news. Trump is coming through on his promises. I love it.